afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Madison. My name is Charles McClymans, and it's my honor to be your club president. And didn't that bell have a special ring today, sitting on this brass platform, whatever it is? It's great to have you all here today. Today's meeting is being sponsored by Mary Wright and the Wisconsin Housing Preservation Corporation. Mary has been a member of Rotary since 2011, been president of the Wisconsin Housing Prevention Corporation. They're constructing a 245-unit affordable housing development at the former Gardner Bimbo Bakery site on East Washington and Fair Oaks called Rise Madison. You have there is still a bakery there, right, Mary? No? All right, but in honor of the bakery that used to be there, you have a sourdough bread on your table today. The housing will deliver affordable rents to families, our workforce, and seniors with occupancy available in March of 2025. This is an $83 million development, which included financial resources from the City of Madison, tax credit equity, tax-exempt bonds purchased by Associated and Johnson Banks, Dane County Workforce Funds, WEDC, and WHPC equity. They look forward to delivering a quality community with access to many services, and maybe someday you'll come back and tell us about that project here. That'd be great. Our thanks to Mary for sponsoring today's luncheon. Please remain standing, and we have some very special guests today that will lead us and lift every voice and sing. We have the Stanleys here. Leotha and Tamara Stanley are going to be leading us and playing and leading our Rotary chorus in singing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Come on up. How about you? A long way standing here. Good. Come on. Going to sing with us? Yes, of course.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. In honor of Black History Month, we have formed a Lift Every Voice choir, formed of members of Rotary, and we're going to sing all three verses of Lift Every Voice and Sing. We're glad that you're staying because this is a day that we want to make sure that we honor Black History Month. So once we get everybody set up, we will start. Anthony. I know. Yeah, just in case. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou hast brought us far on the way. Let us find lead us into the light. Keep us forever in the path we pray. Let our feet stray from the place our God will meadow. Lest our hearts, struck with the wine of the world, we forgot thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native
It's a workout.
Charles, what
right?
Well, it is in the regular rotation, just not all the verses.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks, Charlie. I heard you all the way back there.
That's the program.
All right, thanks to our Rotary Chorus and special guest. Today's guest will be introduced by Janet Perino. Hard to follow that act, huh?
Okay, that's a really hard act to follow. Welcome, everyone. I am delighted today to introduce our many guests. We're very happy to have you all here. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing so that we may recognize you as a group. And here's our guests. Safraz Mohammed, guest of Anita Mohammed. Molly Moran, guest of Connor Moran. Min Martin, guest of Dory Hosek. Jenny Price, guest of Ellen Carlson. Tim Christian, guest of Jen Savino. Jack Idlis, guest of Joel Rivlin. Nicole Perry Besley, guest of Mary Wright. Mark Trinan, guest of Paul Fanland. Justin Hardy, guest of Peter Gray. Jeff Montalto, guest of Renette Maurer. Leotha Stanley and Tamara Stanley, guest of Robert Reed. Braden Fu from the RYE Committee. Brian Woodhouse, guest of Tammy Thayer. AJ Prithivadi, guest of Terry Morawski. Alan Robinson, guest of President Charles, and Lisa Dindorf, guest of Neil Dindorf. Thank you very much. Let's recognize our guests.
Welcome to all of our guests. Today's moment of gratitude is going to be provided by Lee Schwartz. Lee has been a member since 2014, and he is active in our Going Green Fellowship group, and he's going to come up and present a Rotary moment of gratitude.
Thank you, President Charles. So many of you know that my family and I were super fortunate and lucky last year to take what I guess we were calling a sabbatical. We had the opportunity to travel for 10 months, 22 countries on 4 continents. It's been a trip my wife and I had wanted to take really since before we had kids. And the idea behind it is we had always traveled a lot, but we wanted at an impressionable age to be able to show our kids the world, teach them the things you can only learn from travel, such as culture and interacting with local people. They were in 5th and 7th grades when we left. We felt like that was a perfect time. And, you know, when I was younger, I used to travel by myself. And I loved that because you're really forced to interact no matter where you are. I'd stay in hostels, hotels. But no matter where you are, when you're by yourself, you interact with a lot of different people. As a family of 4, that was a little bit more of a struggle. My kids were studying some. I was working part-time. And so we were spending a lot of time in apartments and Airbnbs, which meant less interaction than I really wanted. But that's where Rotary came in. I had the opportunity to visit, there we go, 4 clubs last year during our travels. This first one was in Vicenza, Italy. Very small club of about a dozen people. Welcomed me very warmly and put up with the fact that I hadn't spoken Italian in 20 years. I was the first international visitor they had ever had. So that was pretty cool. And the president actually, a couple weeks later, invited me out to his family-owned winery, gave me a tour, and gave me a case of Prosecco that I literally 20 times tried to say no to, and he forced it upon me. So, unfortunately, the things you have to put up with.
You share with your Rotary family.
Yeah, exactly. Well, some of my, yeah. I didn't travel the next 10 months with them. The next place I visited was in Verona, also in Italy. This was another great club, a little bit bigger, right in Piazza Bra, in the shadow of the L'Arena, which is like Verona's version of the Colosseum. A couple weeks later, one of the members invited me out to his restaurant. He was having other Rotarians out as well, where his chef served up 3 different types of gnocchi, which you all know what gnocchi is, but in around Carnevale in Verona, that's a big, very typical dish. So that was wonderful. A few months later, had a chance to visit a club in Berga, Spain, up in the Pyrenees. Another very small club. This one typically meets in and speaks in Catalan. They spoke Spanish for me, which was slightly helpful. And again, just really, really wonderful people, super welcoming. And then finally, I visited a club in the Czech Republic in Prague. Thankfully, this is an English club because my Czech is non-existent. But what I loved about it was there was a speaker who was the director of Central and European and Mediterranean Studies for NYU Prague, and he spoke on the geopolitics going on in Eastern Europe right now. A speaker on par with any speakers we have here, just really, really phenomenal. You know what? I always had a lot of anxiety before visiting these clubs. It's, number one, I wasn't traveling with all the right clothes. I didn't speak the language great, if at all. And to a T, these groups were always super welcoming, super nice, and always immediately would put me at ease. But the nice thing about attending is, or about our travels, is that it wasn't just about visiting other clubs. No matter where I went, I saw the effects of Rotary all around the world. This is the World Peace Pagoda in Pokhara, Nepal. My Going Green folks, shout out to you guys. So you see it says Go Green, and that's sponsored by Rotary Pokhara. On the left is just outside of Kathmandu. On the right is a restored area of the Canterbury Cathedral, all by Rotary. And then my son and I sitting at a statue of Jan Karski, that's in the Jewish Quarter in Krakow, Poland. Again, just a couple of the many, many signs we saw all around the world of Rotary. So I'm grateful not just for the impact that our club has and for the impact that other clubs have, but for the lifelong friendships that I was able to start through this. And I guess my ask of all of you is, in your travels, I would really encourage you to visit other clubs. It's an amazing experience. The connections you'll make will last forever, and will really provide a little bit more, I think, richness and depth to the place that you're visiting. So, thanks.
Lee, thank you so much for sharing your travels. It looks like you were eating and drinking pretty well at those clubs too, huh?
There's a lot of wine.
It's a good benefit when you travel with Rotary. All right, we have some community service awards, well-earned community service awards, and Nick Curran is going to come up and tell us about them.
Thank you, President Charles. Each year, our club recognizes up to 6 members for their service to our club in one of Rotary's 5 avenues of service. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the 2 Rotary Club of Madison 2024 Community Service Award recipients. The first is Jen Savino. Jen has been a member of our Rotary Club for 8 years. She is CEO of KW2 Advertising and Digital Agency. Jen has devoted a great deal of time to our community grants program. She has served on that committee since 2018 and has chaired it since 2020. Serving as chair is a major role that takes a great deal of time for that committee alone, but Jen also took on the role as chair of an ad hoc committee that conducted an in-depth review of our annual community grants program. She led a number of meetings, held 2 focus groups with club members, asked for input from club and foundation leaders, and, along the way, provided updates to members. The ad hoc committee work lasted 2 years, and the recommendations that came out of the work of this committee was approved by club and foundation leaders last May. Jen is also a current member of our club board of directors. The second member receiving a Community Service Award is Bob Shoemaker. Bob is an attorney with the DeWitt Law Firm. When he joined our Rotary Club in 2002, he immediately signed up for our Ethics Symposium Committee. He has been part of planning our annual Rotary Ethics Symposium for high school juniors for the past 22 events. He chaired the planning committee in 2010-11, and he has also co-chaired the event for the last 2 years. You could say Bob is our Rotary Ethics Symposium Energizer Bunny. Over the past year, he has created a cube with the ROTARY, Rotary, framework, which provides various ways to analyze an ethical dilemma. He personally assembled over 300 cubes to use at this year's Ethics Symposium held just a few weeks ago. He has also expanded Ethics Symposium activities into local high schools. Bob is a former high school teacher, and his passion for helping students learn has and continues to benefit participants of our annual Rotary Ethics Symposium. Beyond our Ethics Symposium planning, Bob has served on our Madison Rotary Foundation Scholarship and Youth Awards committees and has chaired both. He has also served on our club board of directors. Our club has made a $200 gift in Jen's name and in Bob's name to the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International as part of this recognition today. I'd now ask Jen Savino and Bob Shoemaker to please come forward so that President Charles McClymans can present you with a certificate and a pin to recognize each of you with our Rotary Club of Madison Community Service Award. Congratulations.
Congratulations to both of these, very well deserved. I know how hardworking both of these people have been on behalf of Rotary. Of course, they had a team as well to work alongside them, but it takes leadership, and we appreciate your leadership and service. Okay, our poet laureate is in the house today. Oscar Morales is going to come up and share a reflection with us.
Great. Well, another round of applause for our singers under Robert Reed for singing today. Let's give them a round of applause. So this is my poem in honor of Black History Month, and it's a thank you to the black men who helped raise me. The first person outside my family who took an interest in me was Raymond Blackjack Golden. We were in the same class at Lincoln Elementary School, and at the time I was very skinny, very short, and weighed less than 65 pounds. While I was very shy, he let me tag along and was my protector, except the one time his third grade cousin bit me on the right arm through my winter jacket. In sixth grade, I was running to be selected to become the safety patrol captain, and there was a free trip to Washington, D.C. included. He let everyone know that it was in their best interest to vote for me. And it was my first time on a train and stayed in a hotel to visit the nation's capital. A thank you to the black men who helped raise me. My older brothers were wrestlers, and my junior high school wrestling coach, social studies teacher Tony Courtney, he taught me to stand up for myself despite my size and small stature. At the time, I was 4 feet 9 and 85 pounds and became the city wrestling champ. His belief in me made all the difference. When I got to high school, I had a social studies teacher, Mr. Simmons. He taught me about black history and the injustices that have occurred over the centuries. He encouraged me to become more politically involved and got me involved in local school board elections. A thank you to the black men who helped raise me. In college, I met Dr. John Smith, who used so many big words, I had to write them down and use the dictionary to look them up. He taught me the importance of having a big picture view of the world and how I can influence things one step at a time if I could find a vision. I also met Dr. Chuck Tyler when he was director of the Multicultural Center. He taught me how to be diplomatic even when I vehemently disagreed on a particular issue. His patience with me was instrumental in me lasting 30 years at Omega School. A thank you to the black men who helped raise me. Attorney Joe Hill were on the United Way Committee, and I enjoyed the way he looked at issues and always played the devil's advocate and choose the opposite side when everyone else was in agreement. While it didn't always make things go my way, it also helped me to keep others honest. My big brother Charles Tubbs taught me how you can enjoy work forever and helped me craft my retirement plan of working while I still love my job and establishing my next job. Former President Dr. Perry Henderson was a mentor to me and taught me how to live life with grace, honor, and dignity. He was so loving to his wife, Virginia Henderson, and exemplifies the spirit of Rotary, service above self. Willie, Anthony, Carl, Leotha, Wes, and Robert Reed taught me how to work behind the scenes and becoming more effective at making change that way. A thank you to all the black men who helped raise me. Let's all be thankful for Black History Month because it's made a difference in all our lives. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you so much, Oscar, for your words of wisdom and reflection. We appreciate you. We have birthdays to celebrate with a bit of humor and wisdom that complement Rotary's mission. We also ask our celebrants to make a gift to the Synergy Scholarship Fund. On February 25th, Bill Meal. February 27th, Debbie Biddle. February 29th, we have a leap year baby, Sandy Geller, who says, "A birthday so awesome that the world can only handle it once every 4 years." Right? I was going to call her up today, but she's not here today, so I'll just call her out. But and you all have the benefit of getting me for an extra day. And in the club's 112-year history, there have only been 28 of us who've had an extra day in our presidency. So you're welcome. Okay. Let's sing happy birthday to our celebrants. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. Lee, you can come back and play anytime you want. I'll buy you lunch. Thank you. All right, we have one quick reminder that our Madison Rotary Foundation is holding another event on March 7th, and Rotarian Daryl Benke will be talking about planning opportunities for your charitable legacy. There's a flyer on each of the tables. Okay, how are we doing on time? I'm going to go through members in the news really quickly, just to mention that Dave Bornstein's father, Ron Bornstein, passed away on February 23rd. Ron was a past president of our club. We keep him and their entire family in our thoughts. Other members in the news, Matt Boatwright-Simon, Deborah Cronmiller, and Jeff Tews. Okay, on to our program, Top Chef. Today's program is the topic of Top Chef in Wisconsin, and joining us is LINDSAY Christian. LINDSAY and Joy, would you like to make your way up to the stage? LINDSAY is the food editor at the Cap Times, and she previously ran the Corner Table podcast and hosts a video series called Cooking with the Cap Times. She is author of Madison Chefs, Stories of Food, Farms, and People, and the Osteria Papavero cookbook with Francesco Mangano. Joy Cardine is a member of our Rotary Club and our program committee, and is a former talk show host on Wisconsin Public Radio for 31 years, and she's joining us as well, and we'll be interviewing LINDSAY about Top Chef in Wisconsin as they go behind the scenes for the upcoming season to premiere next month. We have made, LINDSAY, we've made as a thanking you, we've made a donation to the Rotary International Polio Plus Fund.
Cool, thank you.
Okay? All right, we will have question and answer, but let's welcome Joy and LINDSAY.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're doing this as a Q&A in part because Lindsay wanted it to be more interactive, and she definitely wants to hear questions from you. So thank you, Lindsay, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This is just an opportunity to be interviewed by Joy, and who would not take that opportunity?
Well, Lindsay reminded me that we spoke before I retired on WPR about sustainable seafood, I believe.
Yeah, we took calls at like 6 in the morning.
So this is a much more respectable hour than that. But anyway, very happy that you could join us to talk about Top Chef. Top Chef, we've been excited about this since we've heard that they...
I also do want to know while we're waiting, how many people in this room are familiar with Top Chef and know the show? Yeah! Okay. And how many folks are just like, what is this weird, what is this cooking show? Okay. So a handful of folks are like, what in the world is this? Okay. I just want to get a sense of that.
Well, while we're waiting, hopefully to be able to see that trailer, for the uninitiated, what is Top Chef all about? Tell us how that game is played.
Sure. So Top Chef is a reality cooking competition on Bravo. It started in 2006. This is the 21st season. It is only the second season that is in the Midwest. The last one was in Chicago in like 2008. It's been a long time since they've been back here. It started out as a very Bravo kind of show. So I didn't come here to make friends fighting on camera. They tried to like shave one chef's hair at one point. Molly's nodding, she remembers this. And it was just very wild and kind of unprofessional, we'll say. And it has really evolved over the years to become a very like legit high-end, like you have the James Beard winners and executive chefs and people who like go on that show to really prove what they can do. So it's really become professionalized, I think, over the years. Again, we're in season 21, so it's had some time, but over that time, it has really, I think, changed the way that Americans interact with chef culture and celebrity. There was a line I read once that it's like Top Chef turns chefs into TV personalities. So it really is, it's chef entertainment.
So the chef testants were announced. There is one from Wisconsin, not from Madison, though.
Right. He's from Milwaukee, Dan Jacobs. He's from Dan and Esther Ev in Milwaukee. It is the first time that Wisconsin has had a professional chef who is working in Wisconsin on this show. Very first. Yeah. Which is cool.
How do they pick the chefs?
So I think chefs have to apply. So this is actually a funny thing. A lot of chefs in Madison, you talk to any of them, they'll be like, oh yeah, I've totally been contacted by the TV networks. So Elena Terry, she's an indigenous chef. She's a Ho-Chunk. She was just on Chopped. Dan Fox from Heritage Tavern was just on Chopped. I think a couple of them have done Guys Grocery Games. Pretty sure, I think Pip Freeman did one of them over at Meat People, and Sean Farr from Mint Mark did Guys Grocery Games back in the day, so look those up. They're fun. But yeah, basically what they do is they'll say, we know that you're a great chef in this area, apply. And they have to make little videos, and they have to say kind of like why you should cast me on the show. But then if you get Top Chef, that's at minimum 6 weeks, usually closer to 8, where you do not see your family. Like Dan was in Milwaukee and he couldn't see his family 5 miles away, right? Because they're cloistered, they're cut off, they don't have their phones because it's a competition show, so they can't talk to anybody. So most chefs who are working at a fairly high level just can't take that amount of time. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of work, but if you appear on that show, yes, the winner wins $250,000, but everybody gets exposure. You get in front of people who might want to invest in your restaurant. You get in front of people who might want to put you on another cooking show. There's a lot that comes with it.
Talk a little bit about how they play the game. We have judges and we have celebrity judges, and the contestants or chef testants they have elimination challenges. They have the main challenges. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I am actually like a pretty early adopter of Top Chef. I watched every season. When they announced this last summer, I thought, oh, finally, all of this information is useful. So basically, the way the Top Chef works, every episode is 75 minutes. There is a quick fire challenge. Something new this year is that quick fire challenge always comes with a possibility of a cash prize. Early on, Bravo just didn't fund it that well, I don't think, or get enough sponsors. So, you could win the quick fire and maybe you would get immunity for the next challenge, but that was kind of it. Now you can win money, trips, a car, stuff. So they have the quick fire challenge, which is short. Y'all remember maybe last August when people were running around at the farmer's market? That was a quick fire challenge. So they had like, I think it ended up being like 25 or 30 minutes that they had to cook a challenge that I cannot tell you about because it's embargoed. And then after that, they have the elimination challenge, which is longer. So that you saw that there's going to be a supper club challenge. That's a longer challenge. They have more time to prepare for that. That's higher stakes, and then someone goes home at the end of the elimination challenge.
You mentioned that there would be no spoilers. You would not be able to
Yeah.
release any spoilers. Why are they so secretive about this?
It's a competition show, right? So, and when I say you go home, you don't go home. Everybody goes who gets kicked off the show, or I should say is eliminated from the show, has to go, they go and they compete in something called Last Chance Kitchen, which is overseen by Tom Colicchio, who is very good at his job, and I will tell you some things about what we talked about when he was here in a little bit. But he oversees Last Chance Kitchen, and people have little competitions and see who can get back into the show. And people who have been kicked off and gone on Last Chance Kitchen and then gotten back in have won. So it is a thing that happens. If you get kicked off and you go to Last Chance Kitchen and you lose, you're just stuck in a hotel room by yourself till the show's done. Because people can't know, right? People can't know who won. And if you come home early, but even then, I think Dan was saying that, he couldn't tell people where he was, his family knew. But for the most part, it's really locked down and very secretive. I think I signed 6 NDAs, because I went to a lot of things and behind the scenes, but they always want to lock it down and say, you can't tell people what the challenge was, you can't say who won the challenge, you can't say, because people will just talk about what the food is like and how the challenge is going, but not all of that's going to make the edit, right? And reality television being what it is, they're gonna they have you have characters on reality television. You have people that you root for and fan favorites and things like that. So they're locking it down because they want that element of surprise.
Yeah.
You
You mentioned we saw the coverage of the chefs running around the farmer's market. We also saw well-known Madison chef Tori Miller watching this. He's going to be one of the celebrity judges. They announced that.
He's a guest judge, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and he's on with, I think I didn't say this, he's on with W. Kamau Bell. The interesting part that I do kind of want to share about this, that's kind of behind the scenes-y, is this was during the writer's strike. So this is a reality television show. It is technically unscripted, but they would say things to Tori like, say something like this. And he'd be like, well, now that you've said it that way, that's the only way that I can think to say it, because they want the judges asking certain questions. It's very produced. There's a bunch of people running around all of the time during the shoots, right? And they take much, much, much longer than what we see on the screen, right? It's very edited down. But I think there were just some weird stuff. I talked to, when W. Kamau Bell he's a comedian and a television host, and I talked with him a little bit about what it was like to be doing a show during the writer's strike. And it felt very weird to him, because reality show folks don't have any kind of union, they don't have any representation, there are people who think that they should, because it would help, them negotiate pay and that kind of thing, but they don't have any union reps, so.
Another guest judge, Charlie Behrens?
Yeah, Charlie Behrens. Charlie Behrens is going to be a guest judge. I think he's done some Milwaukee things. Ooh, looks like we maybe have it. Should we pause?
Well, it's kind of in the middle of it, though. So
Yeah, we'll go back. All right, we got the video. Wisconsin.
Top Chef is back. We've gathered rising star chefs from across the country here to Wisconsin.
I need dairy.
Wisconsin! There's something Wisconsinites can't live without.
Cheese! Cheese Fest 2023.
Too much cheese.
Get out of Wisconsin.
There are a few new rules.
There'll be no immunity given for a quick-fire win.
I love when gets shaken up.
I've never heard of this happening in Top Chef history.
I've worked at the Nomad, the French Laundry. It's like this Michael Jordan mentality. If you're gonna do it, just be the best at it.
I'm most proud of being a chef de cuisine of a Michelin star restaurant at 24 and getting selected for Top Chef.
Being a finalist for the James Beard Awards recently, it's more than just the cooking. I'm addicted.
We should be normalizing indigenous foods on a global scale.
It's beautiful.
It just defied logic in a very good way.
There's heat, there's acidity. This is really fantastic.
The level of cooking is up here.
I want to eat both of these completely. No one take my plate.
Is it a taco? Is it a mole?
It's a tartare, tataki taco.
Holy alliteration, Batman.
I'm sure this is a sight you weren't expecting to see.
It makes two of us.
What is a hot Italian?
You're a hot Italian.
Please welcome Maddie Matheson, Cleo Duvall, Art Smith,
What's happening?
and W. Kamau Bell. And your time starts. Go back.
It's Madison.
100% I'm there for you whenever you need me.
By nature, what we do is ephemeral. We create something, it's here and it's gone. But the experiences and the friendships that you made during the course of the season will last forever.
It's really hard, man. I can't lie.
Top Chef is more than a food competition. It's a mental competition.
Oh,
All the fear and anxiety is back.
It's not refined enough.
The fish is overcooked.
You have got to start cooking to win.
This isn't going to be easy. At the end of this, there's only one person left. You got to make sure it's you.
Every time I watch that, I see more Easter eggs.
You see more what?
Easter eggs, like little things. Every time I watch it, there's like the cheese festival competition. I was actually at that one. I got very sunburned. It was very hot. But there was one guy who had the Hook's 15-year cheddar, and he had it out on his table, and it's sweating. And I was so mad at him. I was like, that is excellent cheese, sir, and that is very expensive, and you need to put it in your cooler. I know it looks cool for TV, but like, this is Wisconsin, respect. Like, anyway, sorry.
Let's talk a little bit about why Top Chef came to Wisconsin. How did that come about?
I have been wanting to answer this question. So as soon as they announced in July of last year, I immediately put in records requests with every state agency I could think of that would have anything to do with this. I was like, how did it get here? How? What happened? Because it's a combination of so many things. It is the fact that Patrick Schmedeman, is that name familiar to anybody? His grandfather was like a mayor of Madison. So he has Wisconsin connections. He and Diana Schmedeman are both producers on the show, and he has been pushing her to get Top Chef in Wisconsin for years. Paul Bartolotta has been pushing to get Top Chef in Wisconsin for years. But they were looking for like the right moment, right? So I talked to producers about this, and it is our political scene, it is our culinary scene, it's sort of everything going on, like sports, I think, too. Like, we've been doing well in sports, right? I don't know, but like, so it's like the combination of things that like put us in a national light. So our politics, our food scene, yes, but it's all of it, because this is a national television show, right? And we're going to be spending a long time here. So that all came into play. And then Craig Trost he's with Travel Wisconsin. He's basically, it's a cabinet level agency at the state level, and his job is to promote tourism in the state. And his board, that's what they do. And so he went around and found $1.3 million in incentives from the Wisconsin dairy farmers, from the cranberry growers, from Destination Madison, from Visit Milwaukee, from Destination Door County. Everybody put in some dollars. But importantly, Travel Wisconsin did not. right? Weedick did, but Travel Wisconsin didn't. So he put this whole package together, and I've talked to him about it many times now, and it's an extraordinary amount of labor, but he knew that this was a big deal, because unlike a little moment on diners, drive-ins, and dives, or a Madison chef on Chopped or something, this is an entire season that's essentially is like a tourism publicity bonanza for the state, right? It's huge. And people, I myself, as a Top Chef fan, have gone to other, restaurants of chefs in other states that I saw on Top Chef, when I'm there. And it has legs they call it the Top Chef effect, and it's this bump that you get. So it was all of this working, the money part, the people with connections to Wisconsin part, and then everything else that was happening here in the state that made them want to be here. So, long answer, but...
No, not at all. Talk about the impact that we expect from this season and the national exposure to Wisconsin or to Madison's food scene.
For sure. So, as I said, there's something called the Top Chef effect. It's difficult to measure, and trust me, I've been trying. Another one of the things that I was doing last summer when I was reporting this out was I looked at other places that Top Chef had been and other places that had given Top Chef money. So, Kentucky, Houston, other, the Las Vegas season. It's hard to quantify it unless you start asking every person who comes into your restaurant why they're there, But Destination Madison and Travel Wisconsin are going to be doing Top Chef culinary tours, where you can go and you can visit all the places that they visit on Top Chef, and you can go and see all those places. So that, crickets. So that's something that they're doing. They're making investments on places that are like the drive time radius around Madison and Milwaukee. They will start doing ad campaigns there, and also the direct flights that come out of Milwaukee and Madison. They'll do advertisements related to Top Chef, and part of the deal that Weedick and Top Chef had together is that they can use the logos, right, of Top Chef. So that helps them do that. So it is difficult to measure, but it is a thing. It's definitely a thing. And one thing that Tom Colicchio said when he was here is that they don't come to a place because of the restaurants. They come because of the culinary culture, the food culture. So it's not like Philadelphia has amazing restaurants. They've never been to Philadelphia. And one of the reasons is, Philadelphia probably doesn't want to pay the money, but also, they're looking at, the cultural impact, so it's beyond brats and cheese. You'll see they had, Indigenous chef Sean Sherman from Owamni and Elena Terry, the Ho-Chunk chef I mentioned. They're going well beyond sort of what we think of as, the beer brats and cheese, which are great, but it's way more complex and interesting than that.
Call for questions.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Yes, Larry, hi.
Oh, battery's low on this. Oh, the battery's low.
Do you want mine?
All right, we'll get another question over here.
Answer the question.
I'm good. Over here.
Technical issues. I thought I wasn't on the radio anymore.
Two related issues, questions. One, how is this better than the Great British Baking Show?
Oh, great question.
And two, do any of the chefs use induction stoves?
That's a great question. They use everything on this show. They use everything from live fire, you saw the fish boil, there was a challenge one year where they had to use electric stoves, and I felt vindicated because my electric stove is terrible, and they should have to use one too. But yeah, they do use induction. You'll see induction a lot on things like, I mentioned that quick fire challenge, the farmers market challenge. They're up on the top of the Latoile building downtown. There's no stoves up there. That's all induction. So, and they're much more portable, right? It is different from the Great British Baking Show in that the stakes are higher because there's money flying around, right? And also, the Great British Baking Show, which I adore, is yay, you won, here's a plate, But I think there's been an influence from shows like the Great British Baking Show because the Top Chef of now is more collaborative and less cutthroat And it was very cutthroat early on, and I didn't like it as much, frankly. Some people love that era of Top Chef. But I like the people who are like, hey, can you grab me this? Can I have some of that? Like, can we help each other? And I love that. So,
Here you go.
Connor.
Hi, I'm Rand. This is the first time I've asked a question at Rotary. Top Chef, thank you. Top Chef was our pandemic show. We worked 19 seasons over 18 months with our daughter, who's 12.
Oh my goodness.
And then once we started traveling again, every trip we've taken has included a Top Chef restaurant, personality, something else.
Yes.
We're going to New York in 3 weeks, and we're talking about which place. So can you talk about, in your conversations with chefs, what is the impact to an individual chef for having been on the show, for having done well on the show, and how long does that go on?
Great question. So there are chefs who on previous seasons, specifically Stephanie Smar and Jamie Lauren. I don't know if you remember Jamie Lauren. She was it's Top Chef, the top scallop. Like, anyway, she was the target of that because she was making too many scallops. She works with the show now. And she said that coming back to Wisconsin, she got recognized more often than anywhere the show has ever been. Because Wisconsin's real excited. We're very excited about this. And so I think oftentimes chefs who are on the show, it's not even so much that they go on to open a bunch of new restaurants. They go on to do more TV, right? Because they're now in the TV system, universe, whatever. And so you'll see a ton of people on this season that you will recognize from previous seasons. People saw Boudreaux walking around. He won the past 2 seasons, 21 and 20, spoiler alert. Or sorry, 20 and 19, not 21. We don't know who won 21. But he was there, like, so they will continue to work with the show and continue to get FaceTime. And Kristen Kirsch is a previous year's winner. She's the new host, right? So that kind of thing will happen. They get in the TV system. I think that's one of the big impacts, frankly.
We got a good question right here.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Chris, and my wife and I are both foodies, but one of the things, we've never had cable. So can you tell us how we can watch this show if we don't have cable? Is it streamable?
Yes, 100%. I've also never had cable, and my TV is not usually plugged in. So I watch it, previous years, I watched it on Apple and Amazon. You can buy whole seasons, and I recommend that. If you only want to watch the Madison episode, you can buy an individual episode on Amazon. All the previous seasons are on Peacock. This year, it's going to be Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock from 8 to 9:15. There will be watch parties at Garver. Come to Garver. We're going to have great watch parties there. It's going to be really fun. But the show itself will drop on Bravo on Wednesday nights, and then it will stream all the places you can stream. So Peacock, whatever, Amazon, anywhere else you get it, will be Thursday. That's the following day. So.
What's next?
Starts March 20th. Can I say this? The Madison episodes will be about 4 and 5 in. Just FYI. You'll also want to keep an eye out for Restaurant Wars, because Fairchild chefs Andrew Kroger and Taro Nagano will both be on that. I mean, there are things you can see in the trailer that I feel like I can say. Like Andy Hatch from Upland's Cheese was part of the Cheese Festival. He's part of that cheese challenge. Obviously, there's a sausage challenge, there's a cranberry challenge. The Supper Club challenge takes place at Harvey House, and I can say that because it's visual.
That's right.
Like, you can see it there, right? So I also, I will be writing about this, but I wash dishes for a challenge.
You do?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, so normally they really want to control media access to the show, right? And that's fine, but I don't like being led around, you know? It's just not the kind of reporting I like to do. I think it makes it hard to talk to people, and I don't know, the anecdotes aren't as good. I don't like being herded. So a friend of mine who I actually know through Cooking with the Cap Times, my video series, was tasked with staffing one of the challenges. And she said, well, I need servers and I need dishwashers. And I said, I can wash dishes. So I put on all black and I washed dishes for like 7 hours. And the Top Chef food is like coming back. I never got to go out into the actual main dining room, which is all very beautiful, but in the back, like these gorgeous like mousses are coming back and all these beautiful things are coming back, and I'm like, it's delicious. So that was really fun. You probably won't be able to see my face, but at one point early on when they were starting to film, because each like duo of chefs would come in like with a 15 or 20 minute stagger time so they could start cooking in the kitchen and they could have not all the dishes at once, right? And I'm watching, I'm just trying to get as much as I can because I don't have any notes, I don't have a camera, I don't have anything because they don't know I'm media, I'm just a dishwasher. And so they're all coming in and somebody, a little producer, a PA came running over to me and said, "Stop looking at the camera." Because I didn't think they could see me, because I'm not, I'm just a dishwasher. But I was just trying to watch. Stop looking at the camera. So.
I had to give up my mic, so I'm going to ask one last question. The judges, and when Top Chef people did a press briefing, they said that the excitement level in Madison was over the top. That people were just they've never experienced anything like it before. So why do you think that is?
Yeah. I kind of want to tell a little story. So the Farmers Market Challenge, right, was on the top of L'Etoile. And people can see these chefs running around, and there's people with big cameras, and people recognize Tom Colicchio, and they recognize Gail Simmons, and they know who these people are. And this has tickled Tom and Gail to no end. They were so charmed by this. But these people are running around, and then they're all up, and people can see them on the top of L'Etoile. Our photographer Ruthie got photos of that, even though I couldn't actually say it. I was like, that's clearly where they are. And the timer went off, and everybody was done, and this roar came from down below, and we're all like waving to them down there, and they're waving at us up there, and everybody's filming each other. And it was this just upswell of excitement. And not long after that, I got an email from a reader that said, "I collect stickers. I saw that there were Top Chef stickers. Can you get me a Top Chef sticker?" And I said, "I will try." And by like the fourth or fifth thing that I went to, they're like, "You're coming a lot of stuff." And I was like, And they gave me a sticker, and I was able to send it to this reader in Economilwaukee. I think people are just really pumped for the show because it's a very genuine love, I think.
Great. Thank you so much, Lindsay and Joy. We appreciate your enthusiasm. We have a Rotary Culinary Arts Fellowship. I'm looking at Loretta. Loretta, maybe we should organize a Top Chef Rotary Culinary Arts watch party. Could be interesting, right? All right, thank you for being with us today. Thank you all for coming today. I invite you back next week when we will hear from UW professor Anja Warner, who will talk about the grammar of English spelling, 5 words, 5 lessons, 0 phonics. Should be interesting. I better not make any bloopers that day either, right? Okay, we will also be hosting the top spelling bee winners from this year's All-City Spelling Bee, which is always special to have them with us. So please come back and join us next week. Before we depart, please stand and we will recite the Rotary Full-Way Test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are adjourned.